Night was calm, but the streets were alive with whispers of something new, something that carried the spirit of raw power and unmatched elegance. And when the cover was finally lifted, standing in the spotlight was the Mercedes-AMG CLE 63, a machine that didn't just arrive. It declared its presence like thunder rolling across a quiet sky, its body sculpted with aggression yet draped in sophistication, wide stance gripping the ground like it owned every inch of the asphalt, the bold Panamericana grille flashing, its fangs as if warning anyone foolish enough to challenge it. And beneath that hood lived a beast, a handcrafted AMG engine ready to roar with more than 600 horsepower, breathing fire through turbocharged lungs, each pulse of the throttle sending shivers down the spine, each shift a strike of lightning that could turn silence into a storm within seconds. And as the city lights reflected off its muscular curves, it became clear this was not just a car, but a story of engineering, obsession, and design, mastery woven into metal and soul. Drivers who touched the steering wheel knew instantly that this was not built for the faint-hearted. The cockpit wrapped around them like a tailored suit, carbon fiber and fine leather meeting in perfect harmony, digital screens glowing like futuristic instruments of command. And every button, every paddle, every detail whispered control, whispered dominance, whispered adrenaline. And when the engine roared to life, the world outside faded into insignificance, leaving only the bond between driver and machine, a bond sealed by speed, precision, and an insatiable hunger to conquer roads. But the Mercedes-AMG CLE 63 wasn't only about raw power. It was about intelligence, about adapting to every curve and every surface. The AMG suspension system reading the road like poetry, adjusting itself to balance comfort with race-bred sharpness, while 4MATIC plus all-wheel drive gripped every corner with claws of steel, allowing the car to dance with elegance at speeds where others would stumble. And in those moments of cornering perfection, where the tires sang and the steering whispered secrets of the road, the driver felt invincible, not just moving through the world, but bending it to their will. Inside, technology and luxury collided in a way that only Mercedes could master. The MBUX system placing the future at your fingertips, augmented reality navigation painting, paths ahead like stories waiting to be written, and the ambient lighting wrapping the cabin in moods that shifted with your heartbeat, from cool serenity and comfort mode to fiery red intensity. When the dial turned to Sport Plus, and in that glow, the car didn't just move, it transformed. It became a different creature with every mode, a chameleon of speed, a shapeshifter of performance on highways. It was a silent predator, gliding past others without effort, the V8 rumble lurking beneath, ready to strike at the slightest command. And on tracks, it unleashed its exterior was sculpted to intimidate yet seduce, the aerodynamic lines slicing through the air while the wide arches and sharp edges stood like battle armor, the exhausts at the back growling with every downshift, spitting a soundtrack of pure aggression, the kind of sound that made people turn their heads before they even saw it coming. And when they did, all they saw was a shadow streaking past, a streak of power that carried the AMG badge like a warrior carries his crest, unyielding, untouchable, unforgettable, true fury, shredding straight lines with brutal acceleration, devouring corners with precision that defied logic, leaving only the smell of burnt rubber and the echo of its growl behind. And for those who dared to push it to the edge, the CLE 63 gave back something rare, the feeling of absolute freedom. The kind of freedom that comes not from escape, but from complete control. Everywhere it went, it carried an aura, an energy that drew eyes and demanded respect. The kind of presence that made even silence loud. Because the Mercedes-AMG CLE 63 was not built to blend in. It was born to stand out, to become legend. And as it rolled into the night with its taillights glowing like fire in the dark, one thing was undeniable. This was more than a car. This was a masterpiece of speed and soul, a story on wheels. And for those lucky enough to hold its reins, the journey was not just about reaching a destination. It was about experiencing power, passion, and perfection in their purest form. And yet, even after the engine cooled and the echoes of its roar faded into the night, the presence of the Mercedes-AMG CLE 63 lingered, like a memory that refused to leave. The kind of machine that carved itself into the imagination, making hearts race even in silence, reminding anyone who witnessed it that some legends are not told in books. They are written on roads with tire marks, with thunderous exhaust notes, and with an unshakable spirit that will forever live in the soul of performance. Because the Mercedes-AMG CLE 63 is not just about driving, it is about feeling alive. about commanding a force of nature that answers only to you. Every journey turning into a chapter of adrenaline and elegance. Every glance from onlookers a reminder that you are part of something extraordinary. And as the horizon calls, the car is always ready to answer, carrying you faster, bolder, and further than imagination itself could dare. It is the kind of machine that turns roads into stages and drivers into storytellers. Every rev of the engine a sentence, every gear shift a paragraph, and every journey a chapter in a tale of pure dominance. And long after the ride is over, the heartbeat of the CLE 63 still echoes, whispering promises of the next adventure, the next conquest, the next unforgettable moment where man and machine become one with the road. Then imagine the night sky glowing as the taillights of the Mercedes-AMG CLE 73 cut through the darkness like streaks. Fire, the growl of its engine still rumbling in the distance like thunder refusing to die. And in that moment it feels less like a car and more like a force of nature, a storm on wheels that leaves behind silence heavy with awe. A silence that speaks louder than words, reminding the world that legends are not born. They are built, crafted, and unleashed. And with every mile, the CLE 63 doesn't just travel. It writes history in speed, in power, and in unshakable glory. And this is not just a machine. This is the Mercedes-AMG CLE 63, a story of raw power, fearless engineering, and timeless design. A car that doesn't simply take you places, but transforms every road into a legend, every drive into an experience, and every heartbeat into thunder. Remember, legends are not just driven, they are lived, and the CLE 63 is living proof. So if you felt the power, the passion, and the presence of this beast, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because the story of speed is only just beginning, and this is only the start of what's coming next.